Good evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, the president continues his diplomatic shuttle, makes his first visit to China to canvass more infrastructure partnerships for Nigeria. Federal government asks Nigerians to exercise patience, regrets pains of fuel scarcity. Civil servants protest unpaid salaries across the states. And over 100 people killed in a fire incident in an Indian temple. We begin tonight with the visit of the president to China, his first since becoming president. He left this evening at 7:30 from the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The trip is aimed at securing greater support from Beijing for the development of Nigeria's infrastructure, especially in power, roads, railways, aviation, water supply and housing sectors. A statement by the presidential spokesperson, Femi Adesina, says President Muhammadu Buhari will be holding talks with President Xi Jinping and other key government officials. Focus will also be on strengthening bilateral cooperation in line with the federal government's agenda for the rapid diversification of the Nigerian economy, with emphasis on agriculture and solid minerals development. In the course of the visit, several new agreements and memoranda of understanding will be concluded and signed on boosting trade and economic relations between Nigeria and China. The president's entourage will include some state governors as well as the ministers of agriculture, water resources, transport, defense, power, works and housing, industry, trade and investment, federal capital territories, science and technology and foreign affairs. He's also expected to open a China-Nigeria Business Investment Forum in Beijing and meet with members of the Nigerian community in China before returning to Abuja at the weekend. As more Nigerians continue to question the rationale behind the president's trips abroad, the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, says Nigeria needs to do this to revitalize the economy. Speaking on politics today, the minister explains this can only be done with the help from other nations. About 2 trillion naira is what President Muhammadu Buhari will be asking China to loan Nigeria.
There's no way in situation we found ourselves that we're not going to run a deficit budget. Now, you run a deficit budget simply when your income is not enough to cover your expenditure, so you borrow. What is important is what do you do with the money borrowed? Whatever money we borrow today is not going to be used for recurrent expenditure. It's going to be invested in railroads, to be invested in roads, to be invested in power, to be invested in providing infrastructure for agriculture, to be invested in infrastructure for certain minerals. So what is important is not that you have borrowed, but what you are doing, what you are going to do with the borrowed funds.
So clearly, the president will negotiate borrowing from China.
Of course, yes. We do not make any apology as to that.
How much is the president going to negotiate for?
It will depend on the outcome, but I know that this year we're looking at a deficit about I think about 2 trillion of thereabouts this year.
On the fuel crisis, Alhaji Lai Mohammed empathized with Nigerians on the pains they've gone through over the last 1 month as federal authorities are doing everything within their powers to normalize the situation. He also says the federal government plans to build modular refineries to prevent recurrence of the scarcity.
The government is keenly aware of the hardship and difficulties Nigerians have gone through in the last couple of weeks, and we do empathize with them. But not only do we empathize with them, we appreciate their perseverance, but we have also been working around the clock to ensure that we are able to bring the situation back to normal. When the government is elected because people have confidence in it that they can right the wrongs of the past and it is competent enough, no matter what the challenges are. This is precisely what we are doing. As I speak today, we've been able to bring the situation almost back to normal in the area of fuel, supply. As I speak to you today, about 7 ships are discharging their cargo of 280 million liters in various, depots in Lagos, in Calabar, in Port Harcourt, and the refinery in Warri is now working. It also has 19 million liters, and total what we have today is 430 million liters in reserve. Last week, a bid was opened, for those who want to bring in modular refineries to be co-located in the existing refineries all over Nigeria.
How soon will that happen?
Well, like I said, just last week, the bid was opened. With a modular refinery, it's faster to build, and the fact that we set on co-location is to dispense with the logistics of, building again pipelines. And as I speak today, like I said, the Modular Refinery is working. And our aim is to ensure that in a few weeks' time, all our refineries will be working at at least 70%, capacity.
The Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, on Sunday Politics. Talking politics now, the Independent National Electoral Commission has declared the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Dipo Eluwole, as the winner of the by-election into the Ife Central State Constituency in Osun State House of Assembly. Announcing the results of the election in Ile-Ife, the returning officer, Dr. Francis Oladimeji, said Eluwole polled 5,504 votes to defeat Segun Fanibe of the Accord Party, who scored 4,790 votes, and Adetilewa Shijuade of the APC, who also polled 4,587 votes. With this victory, the People's Democratic Party now has 2 members in the State Assembly, while the All Progressives Congress has 24. The seat became vacant following the death of Oladejo Makinde of the PDP on December 27, 2015.
I, Dr. Francis A. Oladimeji, hereby certify that I was the returning officer for Ife Central election held on 9th day of April 2016, that the election was contested, that the candidate received the following votes: Fanibe Olusegun Ayodele, Accord Party, 4,790 votes. Number 2, Adetilewa Shijuade of APC, 4,587 votes. Eluwole Sunday Adedipo of PDP, 5,504 votes. That Eluwole Sunday Adedipo of PDP, having satisfied the requirements of the law and scored the highest number of votes, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected. Yes.
Meanwhile, following an appeal to the Ejike Ogwebego-led faction of the People's Democratic Party in Awka, Anambra State to embrace peace, Mr. Ejike Ogwebego has warned other factional PDP groups in Anambra State to steer clear of any activity held in the name of the party. Mr. Ogwebego said this during the general meeting of the party at the State Secretariat, where he also announced that the congresses of the party at the ward and zonal levels will commence from April 23rd to May 14th.
Some people had a meeting in the name of PDP Anambra State. And I want to state clearly here that PDP Anambra State is only one, led by my humble self, and this is that is here. Anything that is called by anybody, that meeting is null and void. Whatever decision they made there will not hold water. If you want to do anything at PDP Anambra State, it must be from this particular school. So I'm sending a note of warning to them that it is different from any meeting. And if they do so, they will be arrested. What we have is Supreme Court judgment. That is final. PDP is one, and we're more in Anambra State.
In part two, after the break, Bring Back Our Girls campaigners pray for the safe return of the abducted schoolgirls. Please stay with us.